Two players, two empty shirts, and suddenly Wrexham's championship push is walking a tightrope. Alright Wrexham fans, if you love the Red Dragons like I do, smash that subscribe button right now and let's dive into this, because what's happening behind the scenes at the racecourse is bigger than you think. Phil Parkinson has just issued a stark warning. Issa Kabore and Liberato Kakas, two of Wrexham's most dynamic fullbacks, are still sidelined, and the gaffer's making it crystal clear we need to be careful. Very careful. Now, on the surface, this might sound like standard injury management, but here's what every Wrexham supporter needs to understand. We're not talking about squad rotation players here. We're talking about two first-team regulars who've been missing since early November. That's over a month without two crucial components of our defence. And in the Championship, where every point is a battle and every match could define our season, this isn't just an injury update, this is a warning shot. Parkinson's words weren't casual. He emphasised the need for caution with both players, suggesting that rushing them back could do more harm than good. But there's a tension here, isn't there? Because whilst we need them fit for the long haul, we also need them on that pitch right now. This is about Wrexham's entire championship campaign hanging in the balance. Can we sustain this historic run without two of our most reliable defenders? Or are we about to discover just how thin our squad really is? But to understand how critical this moment really is, we need to go back. This story started when Wrexham made two brilliant signings that had the racecourse buzzing. First, Issa Kabore, 24 years old, Burkina Faso international, on loan from Manchester City. The kind of signing that shows the Hollywood effect is real. A player with Premier League training ground experience choosing Wrexham. Parkinson said when Kabore stepped onto the pitch, he brought spirit and determination that lifted the entire team. Then, Liberato Kakas, New Zealand international from Empoli in Serie A, another statement. 7 appearances before disaster struck, enough to show his quality, composure, defensive solidity, a modern fullback. Early November changed everything. Kabore picked up a thigh injury on international duty with Burkina Faso. Days later, Kakas went down too. 5th of November, away to Portsmouth, a calf injury in a goalless draw. 2 fullbacks gone. Behind closed doors, you can imagine Parkinson's frustration, his whiteboard being redrawn, the physio team working overtime, tactics adjusted to cover massive gaps in the squad. And here's the complication. Kabore is recovering at Manchester City, his parent club. Wrexham don't have complete control over his timeline. Plus, there's the Africa Cup of Nations looming. Will Burkina Faso call him up? Will Wrexham lose him again just as he's getting fit? These are the questions haunting the gaffer. Fast forward to this week, December 14th. Parkinson steps up for his press conference. And this is where the story gets really interesting. The gaffer's body language told you everything. This wasn't a throwaway injury update. This was deliberate, measured. Parkinson chose his words carefully. And when a manager like him, experienced, pragmatic, never one for drama, chooses to emphasize caution, you listen. Kabore is still some way off, he said. He needs more recovery time. Some way off. Not he's close. Not we're hopeful. Some way off. He's still at Manchester City, still working through his rehabilitation there. And then Parkinson dropped this line. The Africa Cup of Nations is also a factor. Think about what that means. Even when Kabore's fit enough to play, there's a very real possibility he'll be called up to represent his country in January, which could mean losing him for weeks, right in the middle of the championship season, when every match matters. What would you do in Parkinson's position? Rush him back now, risk a worse injury, but have him available before the tournament? Or take it slowly, ensure he's properly fit, but potentially lose him to international duty anyway? It's an impossible situation. But here's where there was a glimmer of hope. When Parkinson talked about Kakas, his tone shifted, just slightly, but enough to notice. Libby's back training on the grass this week, so we're just keeping our fingers crossed that he can return, because we've got two very good players in that position. Back on the grass, that's progress, that's tangible. After weeks of gym work and rehabilitation, Kakas is finally outside, working with the ball, getting closer to match fitness. Parkinson called him Libby. That familiarity tells you something about how the New Zealander is integrated into the squad. Even with just 7 appearances, he's clearly made an impression. We have to be careful and make sure he's right, Parkinson added about Kabore earlier in the conference. And that word, careful, that's the word that defines this entire situation. Because here's the dilemma every Wrexham fan can understand. We need these players back, desperately. But if we rush them, if we put them on that pitch before they're ready, we could lose them for months instead of weeks. This is the moment where patience battles with urgency.
Wrexham supporters are divided. On social media, frustration is clear. We need them now, one fan posted. Others counter, trust Parkinson. Better fit in January than broken in December. Local coverage has been measured. The leader ran a cautious headline. BBC Wales highlighted defensive concerns. National media watch closely. The documentary effect means every injury gets scrutiny typical Championship clubs don't face. In the dressing room, the lads feel it. Losing 2 players disrupts defensive structure, team shape, everything. But this squad has proved resilient. From non-league to the Championship in 3 years, overcoming. Wrexham supporters are divided. On social media, frustration is clear. We need them now, one fan posted. Others counter, trust Parkinson. Better fit in January than broken in December. Local coverage has been measured. The leader ran a cautious headline. BBC Wales highlighted defensive concerns. National media watch closely. The documentary effect means every injury gets scrutiny typical Championship clubs don't face. In the dressing room, the lads feel it. Losing 2 players disrupts defensive structure, team shape, everything. But this squad has proved resilient. From non-league to the Championship in 3 years, overcoming obstacles is the club motto. So what does this mean for Wrexham's Championship campaign? Let's be honest, it's not ideal. In a league this competitive, having 2 first-team players sidelined for over a month is a significant challenge. Parkinson's had to rotate, possibly play players out of position, adjust tactics. And here's what nobody's discussing. January's approaching. If they're not back soon, does Parkinson seek reinforcements or trust they'll return? These decisions define seasons. We've seen this club face adversity before. Non-league uncertainty, back-to-back promotions, the step up to the Championship. Each time people doubted. Each time Wrexham found a way. But this feels different. This is about squad depth at the highest level this club has reached in decades. Can the Hollywood-backed Wrexham compete in the Championship with a thin squad, or have we reached our ceiling? Other Championship clubs have squads 25, 30 players deep. They lose 2 fullbacks and barely blink. Can Wrexham do the same? If Kakache returns soon and Kabore follows, or if replacements perform, this becomes a minor bump. But if injuries drag on, if the Africa Cup takes Kabore, if results slip, we're looking at a potential turning point. At the end of the day, this is what being a Wrexham supporter's all about, isn't it? The uncertainty, the hope, the belief that somehow, some way, this club will find a way through. From the National League to the Championship, from obscurity to global attention, from fighting for survival to fighting for promotion. This club has been through worse, and we've always come back stronger. 2 injured fullbacks, it's a challenge, sure. But if there's one thing Wrexham has proved over these past few years, it's that we don't do things the easy way. Kabore will return, Kakache's almost there, and when they're both back running down those flanks at the racecourse, the Red Dragons will be stronger for it. This is our story, from Hollywood to North Wales and back again, and it's far from over. Let me know in the comments, do you trust Parkinson's approach here, or should we be worried? Hit that like button if you're back in Wrexham no matter what, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on you Reds!